Hey, what's up, everybody? Ellis Outdoors here. Getting ready to start a tournament here at Burr Oak. It's the first nighttime tournament of the year. See what we can get done, see what we can catch. Got a couple different options tied on. This is going to be just raw and uncut footage. I'm not going to change anything. I'm not gonna edit anything. I'm just gonna. Ooh, I'm gonna fall down first. But we are just gonna fish along, see what happens. I got a couple different options tied on, a couple different baits, a couple different things that I really want to try. Everyone keeps preaching to me about a spinnerbait here, so I've got a spinnerbait tied on. I've got the old A-rig tied on. I want to get some of my scent out, get some shad out, some garlic out, pop the lids off. I don't know if this is gonna matter much, other than the fact that it's gonna spray back into my face here. I really like this reel that I'm using for this A-rig. This reel that I'm using, it casts this thing a mile. I need to watch it swim real quick. Make sure they're swimming. Yeah, they're swimming all right. I've yet to really catch any fish on the A-rig. It's more something that I won't put down, and I keep throwing, and I keep casting, and I keep praying. But like I said, this is going to be just a straight, raw, uncut video. I am not going to edit any of this. Just going to post a raw, uncut video of fishing on the YouTube here. Podcast is coming out. It'll probably be out by the time I get this video put up, but I do have a podcast. I don't have a podcast coming out, but Angler Arms invited me onto his podcast, so got that to look forward to. That's coming up very soon. I think it's going to be released Sunday, which will be the 15th. I don't know when I'll get this released for sure, but we'll get it released at some point, get it on the channel. I'm going to try to commit a little bit more to YouTube, try to get a few more videos out than I have been. I haven't really, to be honest, I've kind of slacked off on my YouTube. I posted one video and then I'm not gonna say I backed off of it, but I got that one posted. It took so much work to get that one video edited. I guess I really didn't know. I really didn't know what I was in for, I guess. This is definitely a journey. Hoping to get on some fish. Most of you don't know who I am or know me, but I will ramble when I'm out here by myself. The wife had prior engagements, so when I'm out here by myself, I just ramble. I just talk. Keep myself occupied that way. I will ask a couple questions like randomly throughout the video. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on like scent, bait pop? Like right there, I used Bang Garlic. A buddy of mine named Devin, actually, I don't even say a buddy, childhood best friend, brother, whatever you want to call him. He really turned me on to that stuff. He's the one that told me about it, told me to use it. So that's why I ended up getting some of it. But what do you guys think? What's everybody's thoughts on scent? Do you think scent's something that is a necessity, something that works, something that helps get bites, or do you think that it's just another way to steal a working man's money? We'll put it that way. This bank that we're fishing right now, I'm not super successful on this bank. I wish I could say that I am, but I'm not. I don't catch a ton of fish off this bank, but I feel like the reason I don't catch a ton of fish off of it is because I don't give it the time that it needs. I don't put the work and effort into this bank. Definitely feel like I could put more time into it. And I know, like, so a lot of guys were talking like they couldn't believe how bad this lake has been fishing here in this. There's always got to be a sticker bush of some kind. It's not very often that you see me with a spinning rod in my hand, but a couple tactics, couple techniques that I really want to start getting into using. The Demiki rig is one of them. I don't like the fact that I hear thunder. It's going to make this a rather rough tournament if it starts storming. I done went through that. The last tournament that I had here, it stormed right towards the end of it. So kind of ruined the whole mood of the tournament. I had two keepers in the boat, and don't do you a lot of good when it storms. I'm really thinking that I need to just get the crankbait back out, because a lot of this is good cranking bank. But I was kind of hoping to pick something up with a jig off the wood. But it's that time of year. Where they really, really key in on shad. So you'll catch them on a crawl, and they're still eating bluegill. But it's that time of year where you're probably gonna catch them more on shad related items, square bills, spinner baits, stuff of that nature. That's what it's kind of seeming like today. I don't know, the fish in this place, they see a jig so much that they may just not want to eat a jig. I mean, if I had to eat, you know, pizza every day of my life, I'd probably get tired of eating it too. I'd like to have my net just a little more accessible just in case I get into one. Last time we were here, my buddy threw this crankbait, this exact one. I think this exact setup. I think he had this pole in his hand actually, and he tore him up. So I was kind of hoping that I'd pick it up and do the same. It is my pole. I just let him use it. You guys care? I'm running a KVD 1.5 in the gizzard shad color. It's probably my favorite color of all time. There's a big old dead crappie right there. I made the perfect spinnerbait cast with a crankbait. Good mixture. That crappie got tore up by something. Face is all busted around. I've been trying to work more pauses and stops and everything into my crankbait because a lot of guys have been yelling at me because I just kind of, typically I just reel the crankbait. I hate to say that because it sounds terrible, but that's what I do. I just whip it out there and right into a tree. That's what I do. Whip it out there into a tree. Yeah, typically I just whip it out there and reel it back. But I've been learning, trying to get better with a square bill because honestly, a square bill, uh, not last year, but the year prior, a square bill was my weapon. I mean, I threw a square bill like it was the only thing that worked. I caught a lot of fish on a square bill. I do mean a lot of fish. I can't believe where I'm at right now is two points that kind of stick out off the end of a cove. And I really, really figured that I would get a fish off one of them. But all I got was lily pads. I just saw something bust over here by this log, so I'm gonna flip something over there. I think I'm gonna flip the soft plastic. There's a carp back there. That ain't what I want. The carp are spawning here in Ohio. Got a little bit of that bait pop in there. What is it? Yeah, this is the bait pop. I'm about out of thump gel. Stuff's so expensive. I want more of it, but man, much as I go through it, I'm gonna need to figure out how to make my own because I go through it like it's going out of style. I'm gonna get past that log a little bit. angled the boat out. Got a nice little rock point coming up here. Yeah, this isn't even the area that I really was excited to fish. The area that I'm excited to fish is, which I don't know how much you guys can see out in front of the boat, but there's a pontoon. There's a pontoon out in front of the boat. Man, I hate to say it, but it looks like that storm's heading right for us. Now, I didn't bring my rain gear. I left it in the truck. Guess that'll teach me, huh? I'll be out here in a white shirt covered in water. I don't mind fishing in a little bit of rain, but I ain't fishing in a thunderstorm. I didn't think we were supposed to get anything today, but apparently I was wrong. Right now, I'm just kind of trying to cover water the best I can. The more water I can cover, try to locate fish that way. I'm kind of passing up on some good structure, but it's structure in an area that I don't catch a lot of fish. I thought I just ran into a fish, but I guess I didn't. Yeah, whenever I get bit on like a crankbait, I always call it running into fish. Sometimes I think they accidentally got my lure in their mouth. I don't think they meant to. Well, believe it or not, at this lake, you keep overs and unders. And if you don't fall out of the boat, that's going to be our first little keeper. No, if I keep dropping him, he ain't going to be a keeper. You guys need to quit. All right. White is going to be the smallest fish I've ever caught. Move the camera real quick. You guys just enjoy the view. Got to get my redneck engineered live well pump out. Black to black. Red to red. All right. I felt like there had to be a fish here somewhere. It's just a matter of getting him to bite, right? All right, that's enough. Enough of that. I don't really want to get my seat wet here, but I'm going to. All right. Well, there's a fish in the live well. Not exactly the size fish that I want, but there's a fish in the live well nonetheless. Get his bubbles turned on. I do have a small one. Give me that small one. Give him some. Well, I was going to give him some bubbles, but I ain't got no bubbles right now. This bubble box has seen better days. I think I've got some batteries in here, though. I got a phone charger in here. No, no phone charger. No batteries either. Where'd my batteries go? I'm a mess. You guys are getting to see a mess today. Going past all the good structure. Just caught a fish here, and I'm just going right by it. All right. All right. Now I can put the camera back. And get back after. I didn't go too far. That's good. I'll be honest with you guys. I just kind of reeled that thing up towards the boat. I was getting ready to make another cast, and like I went to lift that thing up out of the water, and there was a fish on it. That's a good sign. It means there's fish around here. That lightning is a or not lightning, but that thunder is a terrible sign. That means there's a storm nearby. I don't want that. I don't normally throw a spinning rod, but this technique that I'm throwing is supposed to be killer this time of year. The old Demiki rig. I've got a freeloader tied on it, so a lot of guys say they just reel these things in, but I don't like. To me, I feel like it needs some kind of action. This could get bit. This may not get bit all day. But it's about the only technique that I'm comfortable throwing on a spinning rod. And that is the truth. Because I really don't like throwing a spinning rod. Apparently there is not one right there that wants to eat it. So I keep doing this. Keep picking up my other poles. See if we can get one down here off this wood here. Preferably a bigger one. One that weighs 4 or 5 pounds. I don't think I'm in frame. Net's going to be annoying today. I don't have a very big boat. Fishing out of a 15-foot skeeter. I'm going to say, if there's ever going to be a fish somewhere, right where I just landed would be the perfect spot for there to be a fish. Must be really deep right there. Oh, I thought it was really deep. It was actually the fact that My bait never made it across the log that I jumped it over top of. See, like right here, this log that I'm looking at, it looks like just a prime piece of structure. But I've gotten bit on it before. I've definitely gotten bit there before. Doesn't mean I get bit there today. Really good log with a crossing log. So that's one of my favorite places, like one of my favorite types of like lay down. So it's a lay down running this way that I can fish. Oh, I think one had a hold of it and was trying to swim away with it. Might have been a bluegill though. I don't know, we'll let out some line. It is pretty deep here, so it's probably just sinking. I'm a very firm believer. I have a saying that my friends love. So my saying is hook sets are free, right? So no matter the situation, you're fishing a jig, you're fishing a spinner bait, anything. If you're fishing any kind of bait and something just doesn't feel right, right? Like you're fishing along and just something feels weird about it. Set the hook. Don't play around. Don't let that fish get the chance to make you mad. Just set the hook, and I always say give that fish the beans. That's my favorite. See, I don't like that cast right there because I wouldn't. Yeah, my favorite sayings: give that fish the beans. Give him all the beans, the whole can of beans, half the can of beans, whatever can of beans you want, but give him the beans. Don't let that fish decide. Just give it to him. Yeah, see that log there that goes out this way to the left, that's going over top of that log, it extends out there really far. A lot of people don't do this, and I'm just going to tell this to you, even though I shouldn't. Run your square bill all around the wood. Don't be afraid to get that square bill in the wood, down in there. You know, believe it or not, a lot of your bites are going to come when you bounce that thing off the right piece of wood. Like another bait that's good around wood is a spinner bait, right? Like everybody throws a spinner bait. Well, while everybody else is paralleling logs with a spinner bait, I'm out here paralleling logs with a crankbait. A square bill crankbait is designed so that it will not get snagged up. It is not meant to get snagged up. So if you fish it right, or you have it on the right tackle, I should say, if you fish it right, you'll get bit. Now, funny enough, I've got two types of flipping techniques set up. I've got a Texas rig with a green pumpkin flash color tied on. That's what I'm flipping right now. And then I've also got my jig. Now, the reason that I do that, because the jig is just straight green pumpkin. The trailer's green pumpkin, the jig's green pumpkin. Right? So the reason that I did that was so, this log, flip the jig to it. If I get bit, then, I know, okay, they'll eat a jig. Next log, flip this creature bait to it. If I get bit, I know they'll also eat that creature bait. That way, and that's another way to find, or that's another way I should say, to build confidence in a bait during a tournament. Right? So I have confidence now. I mean, I only got that one fish in that whole little section. I only caught one fish on that crankbait. But I have confidence that these fish will eat a crankbait. I also have confidence that they're eating shad, for sure eating shad. So as long as I keep giving them, you know, a shad type presentation in between flipping all these logs, I should be able to get on some fish. Now I'd like it if I could find something else that they're eating for sure. You know, like whether it be the jig or the creature bait or the Demiki rig or just something to tell me, hey, we're also eating this. You know what I mean? That way I know. But I also wanted to have that jig tied on for another purpose that I'm sure a lot of you do this time of year. I know a lot of guys are doing it, but swim jig. I really like to throw a swim jig. Um, I've always been a guy that throws a swim jig. Like I've always thrown a swim jig. But over the past couple years, I kind of lost touch with it. I kind of quit throwing it and put it down. And last year was the first time in a long time that I picked up a white swim jig. And I was at a local fishery that I fish quite often. It's kind of a smaller pond, so it's in my opinion, it's almost like your farm pond fishing, really. I mean, it's what it feels like because it's kind of small. But I picked up that swim jig, which I haven't thrown in a long time, and I caught fish left and right on it. And I was like, huh, I remember doing this back in the day. Like I remember back a couple years ago, that's all I threw. You couldn't get a swim jig out of my hand, which I mean I don't really throw a normal swim jig. I don't throw like your basic swim jig that is called a swim jig. I just throw a flipping jig. I take a flipping jig, I throw a flipping jig, and then I'll fish it slow. I don't get bit. I'll almost make the same exact cast, and I swim it back. Works just the same. And typically, and even though it doesn't work all times a year, I run a rattle on my flipping jigs at all times. I have a rattle on there. So the cool thing about that is my jig always makes just a little bit more noise than everybody else's jig. Really hoping that that storm stays over there where it's at. I gotta put a rod somewhere else here. Not really throwing the A-rig right now. Pick up the jig here. There's a good bit of wood right here to pitch and flip and cast to. Try to just sink my jig down to it. I might pick up the A-rig for a minute too. There's a lot of bait back on this side of the lake too. That's why I came to this side. I went to the other side the last time, and I didn't see any bait. Like typically, a sign that you're gonna catch some fish is bait, right? You want to see bait fish. I was on the other side of the lake last time I fished here. I saw shad in one pocket, and then I didn't see anything else. I seen a couple bluegill on the bank kind of doing their thing, but a couple bluegill on the bank ain't enough to say, hey, you should be fishing here, you know? But I will say one under is not going to get this job done today. So a bluegill just picked it up and tried to swim off with it. You can always tell when it's a bluegill, right? Because it's just a little peck, 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 peck. A bass ain't gonna sit there and peck your jig. A bass is gonna eat your jig. That's all there is to it. They don't play around. They don't play around with food. Not very often, at least. See, we're in a place right now that even though, like I said, even though I haven't caught a lot of fish on this rig, oh, that's not what I wanted. I really want to throw this A rig because if there's big bass out here that are like strictly feeding on shad, it's gonna be hard to resist a big old group of shad coming by them. Now, when I get back to like the muddier water, I won't do this as much. I've got a couple baits for that, but all we need is to feel one big thunk on the A-rig. That would make everything better. One big old thunk on that A-rig. A-rig might get snagged up here. Yep. I called that. I knew that was going to happen. I'm going to mess up a lot of this structure too, which kind of sucks, but there's plenty of structure down the road. Usually if I'd pick up and I'd try to flip in here, because this is actually a spot where I've gotten a lot of bites flipping and pitching, but I'm not going to worry that much about it. We've got a lot of tournament left as long as that storm holds off. So as long as that storm holds off, we should have a lot of tournament left. I'm not going to super stress out about ruining a small piece of structure. There's a lot of structure down this bank. We're actually about to go through what I call the crappier part of this bank, which is unfortunate, which actually, to be honest with you, very good possibility that once I fish this tree and some of these like overhanging branches through here, very good probability that I just say forget it and we go. Is that a horse? What was that? But yeah, we may say forget it. I'm gonna try to skip a jig real quick. I didn't skip the jig, just so everybody knows. That was the worst cast I've ever done, trying to skip a jig. Man, I hope that stays back that way and doesn't hit us. So I tried to skip my jig up under this tree. I just looked like a fool trying to do it, but I'm gonna try it again. I really thought that my jig got bit when it landed back here, because it got really heavy all of a sudden, but it did not. Would have been cool if it did, but it didn't. This is one of them areas where if you get bit, you're in trouble, because you're going to be pulling a fish up and out of all kinds of stuff. I think a beaver is making a new beaver dam right here, I bet. Almost bet you. Oh, the line's under a stick there. There's definitely fish on this. I see a lot of movement around it. I ain't got bit yet, but there's definitely fish here. So they're probably a bunch of bluegill, but you never know, man. Never know until you fish it. We'll make a really, really dumb cast here. I'm probably going to regret not bringing my rain gear today. And it's not like I forgot to bring it. It's literally in my truck, but that's all the way back at the ramp, which means I would have to waste, a ton of time to run all the way back to the ramp. And then knowing my luck, I would run back to the ramp just for it to stop raining. So The wind is picking up, which is not ideal, because that means that there's rain coming. Maybe. I don't know. We're about to. I'm not even gonna put the trolling motor up. I'm just gonna leave the trolling motor down and bump us forward with the big motor. Get us to that next spot. I am about to put my coat on though, because it is getting chilly. I don't typically waste awfully too much time with useless banks. I mean, I used to spend time fishing a lot of dumb stuff, but like this that we're coming up to now, I don't think I've ever even got a bite down through here. Sad part is I'm probably driving right by a 2-pounder, a 3-pounder, a 4-pounder. Probably driving right by them, but it's all right. Set my hat down and my glasses for a minute so I can put this on. This ain't really gonna protect me from the rain, but if it does rain, at least I'll have something on over me. Probably won't be needing sunglasses today. Looks like we ain't gonna get no sun. It kind of looks like it's gonna stay away from us. Like I feel like it's already pretty much blown away from us. But the wind is picking up, which means it's probably not gonna stay away from us. Because it looks like it's going already over top of us. I don't know. I could be crazy too. I don't know. And we could also just be getting hit with the edge of it too. Yeah, if the wind just wants to keep me going down this bank, I won't even have to use the trolling motor, you know? Hopefully the volume's good. I had already started one video and then I stopped it so I could listen. Sounded pretty good, so we'll see. I think I'm gonna have to pick that crankbait back up because I see a lot of rock. Oh, there goes that spinnerbait going for a ride. A lot of rock, a lot of different things through here that just call for a crankbait. You always hope to make the right. Oh, get off of there. There we go. You always hope to make the right decision. Sometimes you just do not make it. So, none of the other boats in this tournament have come back this way so far, which is scary to say the least, because that either means that they're on fish or they just haven't given up on where they started, or they left. Very good possibility that they left. That's the one thing that is very good about me. I'm pretty committed. It takes some thunder and some lightning to really get me to leave the lake. So last Friday, I actually there was a whole storm that came through. It wasn't supposed to, and then apparently, I guess what I found out was the weather dramatically changed from the time that I started fishing, which is the last time that I checked. It was the last time I checked the weather. It was like right before I headed this way. To when I got here, the weather had changed, I guess, dramatically, is what I was told. Like it went from like a 40% chance at 8 o'clock for about an hour and then nothing to a severe thunderstorm watch at 8 o'clock lasting until midnight. So, yeah, I found out real quick that my weather update was wrong. One of the boats stayed to the end, though. I was very surprised about that. They didn't have any fish, which typically when you get weather like that, if somebody doesn't have any fish, they leave. And those guys, fuck it, they stayed, toughed it out. They even had to come look for me at one point because I couldn't get the motor to start at first. I think I had flooded it. So they even came looking for me. See a lot of boats leaving. There's also a lot of boats staying. So I'm kind of curious if I'm in danger or not. We'll see. I figured the guys, one of the guys fishing this tournament will come find me if they plan on leaving. Because they'll probably want their money back. I ain't got a problem with that. If you're honest and come tell me, like, hey, I didn't feel safe, I'll give your money back. I don't care. Just had a bluegill run off with my jig. I hate bluegill. It's partially why none of my trailers last very long because they just keep yanking them down. Yeah, 2 pontoons are leaving. I don't know. I don't think it's bad enough yet to warrant leaving. This is sometimes when the fishing gets good. Sometimes. On this lake, I don't think the fishing ever gets good, but oh, no way. I just got thumped on the old jig right there. It's kind of upsetting. I was kind of hoping it was a big one, that way it wouldn't miss it. But I did just get thumped, so that's a good sign. Like I said, I think what I was fishing back that way was a bunch of what I call dead water. And it's an area where you'll have to fish 300 yards of bank before you run into your first fish. And that's not good. It's not a strategic way of winning. You got to try to skip over the stuff that's kind of a waste of time and get back on the stuff that's good. Now, just because that fish had bumped that jig, I'm going to slowly bring that. Yep, there he is. I don't know what it is. Oh, it's a bluegill. Look at that bluegill. Look at that thing. Red as can be. Well, that tells me that that may very well be what thumped that jig on the way through. Like I said, I got that jig bite, and just to be safe, I wanted to bring that crankbait through there. I pretty much use the crankbait as a lot of guys will use like a finesse technique, right? So if they get a bit on something, they pick up a spinning rod, throw a finesse technique back in there, and try to see if they can catch it. I throw a square bill. A square bill is my bait of choice for that situation. Pretty much explaining why I run the rattle all the time is because like a bluegill and a shad, I mean, they always put off some kind of noise, right? So and crawdads, they click their claws and stuff. So my thought process is, why not? I almost thought about, I do have I have a rage, I think I have 1 or 2 rage crawls in my bag there, in my box. Thinking about switching to one of them as a trailer. I used to always have really good luck with a rage crawl as a trailer. That used to be my go-to trailer. I'm thinking that maybe that could help a little bit. Takes away some of the body of the bait though, it's my only issue. That's kind of why I run the one I run, because it gives it more body. That's the big ones. Let's see how this looks on there. What is on that thing? I don't know what's on it, but I don't like it. I'm not even going to cut it down. I'm just going to use the whole thing. The whole rage crawl. These things are in not so great condition. That thing looks rough. Does it look okay in the water? You know what? I hate to do this. I don't think that's any good. So I'm going to have to use my last big one, which is fine. I'm going to have to bite it down and then thread it up on there. And yeah, it's fine that I had to do that. It just gives it a little more wiggle when it falls, and it looks really good swimming too. That's what I like. Those rage crawls, they swim really well. I'll tell you, some of the casts I make with a crankbait, I bet I would drive people nuts if they saw just some of the casts that I make. Because I just I'll throw little flips out there. Like I won't go very far. It'll just be, I'll flip it 5 feet from the boat. Just hope there's a fish in there. Like I hope there's a fish on this log. But I don't think there's gonna be. A lot of wood down there. A lot of wood. And I think that the wind changed direction, which is weird. I don't like that wind because it's really hard to flip and pitch a Texas rig in the wind. The jig's not so bad. Yeah, the wind is. That was the worst hook set I've ever had in my life. But there just wasn't anything I could do because I was in such an awkward position. I was in like the most awkward position I've ever been in. And I felt the fish. I felt him bump it, and I couldn't do nothing. So I literally just set the hook with my left hand, which is not pretty. I think my bobber stop's all messed up, or my sinker stop, whatever you want to call it. Oh, god damn it, I got hit again. There was for sure some fish on that little log right there. Why does my bait look like that? There we go, straighten back out. My boat's about to hit this log, but I'm gonna try to get back in there one more time. It was such an awkward position. They bit it. I don't think that's a fish. That's a good one for on camera. Setting the hook into the tree. Making that tree know I mean business. But that's kind of what I was saying, is you'll come up to a log like this. Uh-oh. I'm going to hit a log here in a second, I think. But that's how this lake works, man. You'll come up to a little log like that, right? You didn't expect there to be a fish there, right? You just expected to cast out there and maybe get bit, right? You didn't expect to get bit. And that's what's weird about this lake, is sometimes you'll get just into a group of them and you'll just slam them. And a lot of people say that's because they school up this time of year, but the fish in this lake just don't act like they school up very much. That's my thing. Like, I'm not saying they don't, but if the fish in this lake school up, they school up weird because they don't school up very much. Or they don't get in big groups, I should say. Like, typically when you think of a school, you think of a school of fish. But I think when these fish school, it's like one or two. And like, I've learned a lot with this crankbait. I darn near have to make sure that every cast I stop right at the boat and kind of let it sit right at the boat for like 2 seconds, like without reeling it, because for some reason I get bit a lot, like right at the boat. I don't know why these fish tend to do that, but they follow this thing. They follow it all the way to the boat and then they eat it, which sucks on a crankbait, especially. I don't know if you've ever had a big fish do that, but if a big fish eats a crankbait at the boat, you're in trouble. You better be quick on that thumb and release a hefty amount of string too. I was going to flip to that rock, but I feel like if there was a bass there of any kind, one of them would have struck that crankbait, and not a single thing hit that crankbait. So I'm not going to spend too much time fishing that rock. Haven't gotten anything off of rock yet, so keep that in mind, that maybe must have just reeled into some leaves or something. Maybe rock is not the ticket today. I mean, I'm still going to throw my bait or this crankbait around rock because that's what you do, but make a short little cast with the crankbait here, just in case there was one on the back side of that I couldn't get. A little pause right there at the edge of the boat. Now earlier this year, there's a spot up here on the right. We'll get to it eventually. But there's a spot up here where I was throwing a chatterbait and man, did I get thunked. I got thunked hard. And I'm pretty sure it was probably a 6-7 pounder. I had it on for a minute. I was fighting it and trying to work it back and forth and trying not to lose it and everything else. And I just had something just chase this thing all the way to the boat. Something just tried to eat it right at the boat. I saw the flash right behind the bait. So that means there's fish. There's fish on this little area somewhere. Kind of upset that it followed the A-rig to the boat, but you can't catch them every time. That's fine though. I don't know what that was. Something small just followed that to the boat. Trying not to go right on top of the structure, but I keep ending up, the wind's blowing me that way. Can't stay off of it very well. I haven't got to do very many really good slackline hook sets this year. It's kind of upsetting. It's everybody's favorite hook set, and I like to do it too, but so far this year I haven't had the opportunity. There's another pontoon hauling ass. Probably trying to get somewhere that they want to fish before the rain comes. There is a catfish tournament here today. They launched out of the other dock. Oh. I knew there was something. There's a bluegill though. Man, these bluegill are mean today. I've never caught so many bluegill. The sad part is what I'm getting bid on is one of my favorite baits, but I think I only have one pack left because I've been trying other baits here and there. This wind is making it difficult. I'm kind of fishing into the wind. I don't really want to be, but it's just the way that I was fishing, and the wind was blowing at my back there a minute ago. I don't know. Oh no. Once again, worst hook sets of my life, but it's all right. I think the reason I'm setting the hook like that is because I'm so tired of missing fish. I miss a lot of fish like that, so I'll get a bite when I'm not in like prime position to set the hook. That makes me mad. So now I'm just trying to set the hook any way I can, no matter what position I'm in. Which that was definitely a fish because hook and sinker came back. Lure did not. So I would assume, I don't know if it was a bass or not. That's yet to be determined. Maybe we can get in there and get bit again. I doubt it. There is a lot of fish by this wood. I wish I could feel. See, I would know it was a bass if I could get like a bigger thump. Because like I'm feeling thumps, but they're just like little thumps. I mean, I'm setting the hook just because it's a little thump doesn't mean it isn't a bass. I've seen bass will hit light. Big ones will. And it's happened to me before. You know, I feel just a little thump. I set the hook and it ends up being a 4 or 5 pounder. But for the fact that I came back in with no lure makes me think that if it didn't get a hook, it was definitely a bluegill. But they are eating, so they're eating this crawl pretty good. They're not really eating the jig. Now, That doesn't mean that once I get up here where the grass is and stuff that I can't throw that jig in there and swim it out and get bit. There's enough cloud cover today. I might even be able to get a topwater bite once we get into some pads, but so far this year I've yet to find a good topwater bite, which is very upsetting if you're a bass fisherman, because topwater bite's where it's at. Everybody loves a topwater bite. I've got a frog back there ready to go, but I think the only way I'm gonna throw the frog is if I get back there in the pads and I actually see them like openly blowing up on stuff. Like if I don't see them blowing up on shad or something in the pads, I'm not gonna waste my time. I think that's what I spend too much time doing, is I'll just go to the first set of pads I come to and I'll start throwing my frog. I really just need to start looking and finding out if they're actually there or not. Need to catch like one more under 12 just to build my confidence, or get like 5 unders in the live well. If I get 5 unders in the live well, I'll probably put the crankbait down. Or if I don't put the crankbait down, I'm gonna pick up a big crankbait. I think it might be too deep out here for this crankbait, but we'll see what happens. This bush right here was underwater a couple weeks ago. The water was real high, and I came through here flipping a jig, and I got hammered down inside there. And I had a fish on. I seen the fish. Couldn't get him out though. He whooped my butt. So say, I never thought, me setting the hook back there, I better check and make sure my mic's still here. I had a mic on my hat at one of the other lakes that I fish, and I chucked it in the water because it was on my hat, and I did one of these numbers with my hat, picked it up, and scratched my head, and well, Mike was no more. I think the last time I was here, I think there was a big fish sitting on this tree. I really feel like there was. It'd be nice if I could get on a couple big ones, especially since I'm recording today, but we'll take what we can get, really. I don't think he's under. That's unfortunate. He's going to be one of them fish that I got to throw back. Hey, hold still. Ow. You're going to be one of them fish I got to throw back, huh? You could be nice to me and just be 11. That would be cool with me. You know what? You're just under 12 inches. So I will take it. Hey, stop shaking. All right, red is my 11 incher. Got it. Well, I did say that I felt like there should be a fish on this tree, and there definitely was a fish on this tree, way back in that tree. And what I like there is I did something that I haven't been doing. I actually let that fish take that bait for a minute. So here lately, I've been struggling with my hook set. Like I hate to admit that out loud. There's another one off that same spot, man. That's gonna be another under 12 incher. White. Oh, I dropped him. sad part is I think there might be another fish back in there. I just heard something busting around. Now, the crappy thing is I think I've only got like 2 more of these crawls left, so I have something close, which is what I'll have to switch to if these get ruined. That makes me think that I might want to, I'm going to wrap back around real quick, do a wrap around here, because I feel like if there was that many fish there, that there could be more fish there. And sometimes the smaller ones get to the bait before the bigger one does. So if you come back around, you might, oh, that's a backlash. That's not what I wanted. Not a very good flip by me. I'm just happy I'm getting the hook in them now, because I wasn't getting the hook in them. Now I am. They might be unders, but they're fish. So I don't have a ton of waiting fish right now, but I've got fish, so there's no reason to complain. And like I said, I felt 100% like some fish had come off this spot, because the last couple times that I've been out here on this lake fishing, I've been right around in here, and I've either missed a fish, or I've gotten a fish, or I've gotten bit by a fish, or something, you know? Like, I mean, I don't know what it is about this spot. I mean, it's a nice overhanging bush. All right. I hit it twice. Didn't get hit the second time. Now there's a little bit of a sprinkle coming. That's all right. Definitely need to catch some overs. Definitely need to catch some overs. Not really anywhere right in here that I want to flip and pitch to, except maybe right there. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to keep going, because what I'm seeing right now is they seem to be really, really tight on the wood. Oh, I thought I had one. Must have just missed it, maybe. Or I could have ran into something too, I guess. Yeah, somewhere right in here. I don't know exactly where, but somewhere right in here, man, I hooked into a 6-pounder. One more cast, and then I need to check, make sure that the camera is still recording, because I never did think about that. My camera has stopped recording on me before, so I just want to make sure, yeah, we're still good. Still good in the neighborhood. Hope I didn't just break my bill. I break the bills on these crankbaits like all the time. Really thinking about poking the A-rig around right in here, seeing if maybe A-rig will get bit. I'll have to check on them fish here in a minute, because they're making a bunch of noise. Yeah, They done did something back there. Thing's making outrageous noise now. Yeah, you buttholes. Oh man, come on. Hey, don't jump out here at me. On the plus side, if everybody's listening, those fish are very lively. So even though I don't have any G juice left, which is something that I highly recommend for summertime tournaments, even though I don't have any G juice left, they are very active in there. That is way closer to the bank than I really wanted it. Now the problem is I've got 3 in the live well. That's good. Having 3 in the live well is a very good thing. It is not something to complain about. I do wish they were bigger, but I'm going to need to catch something a little bigger than a half a pound if I want to place. Which, I mean, I'm only paying first and big bass, so really need to find something with a little bit more size. I'm not seeing nearly as much action back here bait fish wise, so I'm kind of curious here, and I'm actually thinking that I'm going to switch trailers again because I really like this Rage Crawl. It's a great trailer, but in my little bag here, if I can find them, locate them, figure out where they're at, I have I have some blind squirrel, green pumpkin, green pumpkin, green flake, and something about that blind squirrel, green pumpkin, green flake makes me think that they're going to like it just a little bit more. Put a little bit of bait pop on there. Really need to put some on the legs. The bug in my ear here. Alright. That's better. That looks a lot better to me. Guess while I'm fishing here, I'll give a little shout out. I am a blind squirrel pro staffer. You can go check out blindsquirrel.com right now. They've got some awesome creations. And not only do they have awesome creations, but at blindsquirrelbaits.com, you can go in and you can hand build a jig. You can hand build a soft plastic. You can hand build a spinner bait. You can hand build a buzz bait. You can hand build all kinds of stuff. Everything on their website is customizable. There's over 400,000 different combinations of colors and flake and everything you can imagine on the website. So I highly recommend that you go check them out. Use promo code ProStaffTyler124. That'll get you a discount at checkout. They have crappie baits, they have bluegill baits, they have stuff for bass, they have glide baits, they have crank baits, they have terminal tackle, they've got apparel. I have one of their hats on. My favorite hat. You guys probably can't even see me right now. I'm just up here talking, not paying attention to where my camera's at. But they have all that stuff. They're a great company, family owned and operated. They are out of Blanchester, Ohio, but unfortunately they will be moving to Texas soon. But that doesn't mean that you still can't get your blind squirrel stuff, because they still will ship it. Unlike a lot of your tackle brands, right? When you order a pack of their soft plastics, you get 12 baits. How many soft plastic companies give you 12 baits in one pack? Not very many, let me tell you. So you can order that. Is there a reason that you're swimming that way, sir? I don't know. It's swimming weird. But there's all kinds of stuff on there. They're very inexpensive. I think it's like $5.25 a pack of soft plastics. Don't hold me to that. I could be wrong. But it's super, I mean, it's inexpensive. It's a great company. They're family owned and operated. They're everything you ask for out of an American made company. They put their heart and soul into the baits that they make. They make sure everything comes out just the way it's supposed to be. They don't send a bunch of crap out. They make sure their stuff's good. They listen. Another great thing that you can do with it that I forgot to mention, that now that I remembered, I will mention. You can send them a picture. Say you have like a favorite bait that you used to throw all the time and you haven't been able to find it for years. You just can't find it anymore. If they have the mold for the soft plastic that you're talking about, all you have to do is send them a picture of that bait, right? Send them a picture and say, hey, this is the color that I'm looking for. And they will literally do everything in their power to recreate that color, right? And I know for a fact that there's some colors that they just do not make anymore that everyone's like, man, I wish I could still get that. Or I wish somebody still made that, right? Now you ain't got to worry about it. You can just go make your own. Or say you like a color, but you really want to try like this flake or that flake or this flake or whatever. I mean, if you want to make a pink bait with purple flake or a purple bait with gold flake or, you know, just anything you can think of, they can make it. So that's my little blind squirrel rant there, just to get you guys opened up to it and know it exists. Go check it out. If you're watching the YouTube, you can also go check out my TikTok, where this is Wicked Ohio Outdoors is my YouTube. I also have a TikTok that is Ellis Outdoors 18. Be sure to go check that out. If you go check that out, you can go to my link tree, and it'll be twice as easy to find blind squirrel baits because they're in my link tree. They're all over my TikTok. You can't get on my TikTok without seeing blind squirrel baits because that's where they're at, all over it. If you go to my Facebook or my Instagram, they're all over it because I post their stuff all the time. I throw their stuff all the time. I don't make my own, but I design my own stuff and have them. Oh, it's been a long time since I've done that. I don't usually snag up with spinner baits. Dang it. My balance is off today. Yeah, usually you don't snag up with spinner baits too often, but I found a way. The sad part is there's a bunch of fish. I just ruined this whole little area right here, but there's a bunch of fish sitting back there. I just snagged my spinnerbait up again. I am not doing well today. Is this just like the world telling me to put it down? I'm only throwing it because everybody swears by it. I promise you, that's the only reason I'm throwing it, is because everybody swears by it. And I think I just had one bite it. Yeah, everybody that comes and fishes this lake swears that if you just go out and throw a spinnerbait, you'll catch fish. Well, I'm going to tell you now. I've thrown a spinnerbait here. A lot. I've thrown all kinds of. I've thrown big ones. I've thrown little ones. I've thrown medium ones. I've thrown this color. I've thrown that color. This is a white and chartreuse one that the wife bought me. Like I said. Oh, there is one. A fish ate the spinnerbait. No way. This is a real thing. It does work. I wasn't a believer. I'm a believer now. They will eat a spinnerbait. That was a little fish for the size of this spinnerbait, I gotta be honest. And if we don't start finding bigger fish, I'm gonna be in trouble. Good Lord. I mean, we are gonna break out the frog here in a minute, because there's a little area back here. Gosh dang it, I gotta check my fish too, because they're back there making a ton of noise. I don't like how much noise they make. I could have been flipping and pitching to all this stuff, but man, I looked ahead of me and I just saw frog country, so got to get ready to throw that frog, you know. Cool thing, what I like about a spinnerbait is I can really, and truthfully, I can bring this spinnerbait just about anywhere I want. There's somewhere I want to put a spinnerbait, 9 times out of 10, it is not going to get snagged up. It might, but most likely it's not going to get snagged up. And I put a paddle tail on it because it is a known fact that the only trailer on a spinnerbait that catches big bass is a paddle tail. I don't know, an old man told me that once. He said, if you're going to catch a big bass, you got to throw a paddle tail on your spinnerbait. I said, okay. I said, I'll give it a whirl. Don't hurt my feelings to try it now. I've always thrown a trailer on. Well, I wouldn't say always. Really, I think I started throwing a trailer about a year ago on a spinnerbait. Used to be I'd just throw a spinnerbait. Didn't worry about the trailer, but this little area here, I do not think I've ever caught a fish though in the topwater. But my mindset is eventually there's got to be one there that eats the topwater. That's kind of how I'm taking it right now. Is eventually something there has to eat the topwater. Eventually. Sometimes I get lucky and catch them out of this little spot right here too, but today they just don't seem to be there. Make sure that hook gets buried in there. One of my favorite things is punching pads, but I don't know if today's a day to punch pads or not. I really don't think any of these bass are going to be up super shallow either. I think that's a very important thing to think about. I don't think anything's going to be really shallow. Like my topwater bite might have to come from out deeper in the lake, unfortunately. But that's why I throw a white frog, because the white frog, I mean, they'll eat it. No matter what, they will eat a white frog. Because if they're eating shad, what if shad looks like? I guess I should say it's what I imagine a shad looks like on the water, is white. Here lately, I've been fishing it kind of fast. I think today, we'll slow it down a little bit today, because I don't think, well, I didn't mean to cast there, but I guess that's where I'm casting. Yeah, I've fished this lake probably 5 or 6 times now. And I mean, I'm talking, I've fished it 5 or 6 times when they should have been eating the topwater. And I can't get them to eat a topwater. I think I've had, at this lake, I think I've had a total of like, I think I've had like a total of 2 blow ups. Everyone else is probably on the big fish while I'm still messing with all these tiny ones. Probably what's going on. Oh, I actually had one blow up on the top water. I wouldn't say he blew up, but he came up and tried to eat it. There he was again. I think it's a little one. But, oh my sweet Jesus. I'm freaking. But the cool thing about getting bit like that is before I leave this spot, hey, they're here. The first time I've ever had one bust on a frog in the open water like that. Look, I'm talking about not getting any topwater bites. The day I start filming, they decide to start eating the topwater. But because I know that there's at least 2 fish in this little vicinity, 2 bass, I should say. See if we can get them to bite a crawl. And this is kind of like punching pads. I'm just not exactly punching. I mean, I'm throwing it behind the pads and then another little guy. I'm gonna have 5 fish in that live well if I keep this up. They might be 5 unders, but I'm not gonna be a complainer. Not today. Not today. Ain't no reason to complain. Catch some fish. Little buddy, I'll give you the blue one. Get in there with your friends. Now, I'll be honest with you. The way that that fish hit that, he had me thinking he was bigger because he made the lily pad swirl. So everything in my mind thought that was a 2-pound fish, if not bigger. And it was not. It was definitely a small one. But I set the hook like it was a 3-4 pound fish. The only reason I set the hook hard in this situation, just so everybody knows, I'm sure you guys saw it when I came in here, but there's a lot of pads. So I got to make sure I set the hook hard, because if I don't get the fish out of those lily pads fast enough, they'll just get tangled up, and then I have to hope that they stay pinned. And I mean, if I had a good hook set, they'll stay pinned. But sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes they don't stay pinned. Sometimes they come undone. So just as a safety precaution, I set the hook hard. Another thing that doesn't get taught enough that I wanted to bring up today while I'm out here is pitching with your left hand. I don't care if you're right-handed, left-handed. Learn how to pitch with your left hand. It will make you twice the fisherman if you can pitch with your left hand. I'm going to try to save this bait. because it's been doing so good. So I'm going to try to hook it a little bit deeper like that. See, right now the bluegill keep pulling it off the hook, so hopefully hooking it up like that, hopefully that'll save it for a couple more fish. This is actually the cove that I caught the 3.5 pounder in. There's that rain that I didn't want. But yeah, this cove is where I caught a 3.5. Oh, don't do that. Don't flip in the tree. This cove, I caught a 3.5 out of this cove one evening. But the difference between the day I caught that fish and today is, unfortunately, that day the water was way up. I mean, the water was up. And I was just swimming a jig. I was swimming a jig the best way to swim a jig, and that was around bushes. So if you get a chance to swim a jig, really try swimming it just around the bushes. You got flooded water, or it's flooded up high, swim that jig around bushes, and bass will get up in them bushes when the water floods. It becomes a whole different ball game. See, my crankbait just got stuck on a rock, but I just popped it through that rock and then right back. But so far, they have not been really on the rock. Something's wrong with my crankbait, because it ain't. Yeah, I've got a bunch of leaves or something. It wasn't swimming right. I think we've got 4 in there, 4 unders. Need to catch a couple bigger ones. I'd like to start calling the unders out once I get. Well, I got to get a 5th one in the boat, I guess. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, but. Now, a buddy of mine, his name's Ashton Casto. That man can come to this lake and he'll throw a spinnerbait. I don't know how he does it, but he'll throw a spinnerbait and catch giants. There's one. I don't know how big it is, but it's a fish. Keep it down. Keep it down. It's a crappie. Not the species we are after today. It's the first one that actually really hammered the crankbait, though, so that's good. That crappie was slimy. I didn't think crappie were that slimy. Now this bank, I've seen big fish come off this little corner right here. I am not usually as successful on this corner, but we are still going to fish it. There's old Keffer coming back here to take my area away. There's some kind of big fish in front of me that just keeps waking around. Two of the guys fishing today, and oh man, oh, I got hammered twice. Two of the guys fishing today, I don't know. And then Keffer and his partners here, they're about to go cut me off of my bank. It's all right. I fished a lot, so kind of see where they go and base what we do off where they end up. I don't like making those long casts with a crankbait. I know you're supposed to, but every time I make long casts with a crankbait and I hook into a fish, they get off on me all the time. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Only thing that kind of scares me about coming back in here is I don't know if they're going to be back in here. I mean, we're going to find out really quick if they're back in here. If we don't, we kind of got a couple baits in the boat that they're biting on. So sometimes the crankbait bite can be really good, and then sometimes it just ain't nothing. I don't know why that is either. Like a lot of times you would think that my watch is gonna die. That ain't good. It's alright if it does, but might have to end the recording. The fishing will probably get good once I end that recording, but alright. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. If I don't have a phone, I can't tell time. And I thought I brought a charging cable, but I did not. Big one. Nope, big old stick. That felt like a big old fish, but it was a big old stick. That's the thing with a crankbait, man. You feel that all of a sudden that crankbait stops moving and your mind goes into what could it be. See a lot of bait moving in that pad pocket in front of me, and I see a lot of bait moving around up here ahead of us too. So, oh, something chasing to the boat. They keep chasing to the boat. I don't know what their deal is. They're not eating it. I don't know why. I might have to tie on a smaller Demiki rig. I kind of tied a big one on because I'm so used to. See, there's another fish that just followed out to the bank. I think they're crappie because I haven't seen nothing like huge follow it to the bank or follow it to the boat yet, but they're following it up to the top. They're following it clear to the boat, and I'm doing pauses and everything on my retrieve, trying to get them to eat it, but they're being very picky. Yeah, I've caught a couple of my big fish that I've caught out of this lake have come off of this uh, pad pocket right in front of me. I don't know why that is or what it is about this pad pocket, but for some reason they really like this little pad spot. I actually think the last time we were here, I think Drew was running this crankbait through there and he got slammed a couple times. But we are now at the point in time in the day where it's going to be almost impossible to throw this. So we're going to fish green pumpkin chatterbait right here. Now the reason that I picked up a green pumpkin chatterbait is because a lot of your bass, your smaller bass, are probably eating the shad. A lot of your bigger bass, and this is my opinion, a lot of your bigger bass are eating the bluegill that are trying to eat the shad. So that's what I'm kind of looking for. I'm looking for the bigger ones that are trying to eat the little ones. One of my biggest fish off this pad pocket was literally, it kind of formed a bigger pad pocket. This is kind of a little pad pocket compared to usual, but usually it's a lot bigger than this. But the high waters kind of messed it up. But I literally flipped on the edge of it. Like I didn't even flip it inside of it. I flipped on the edge, just dropped it off the edge. And as soon as my bait sunk down, it was sinking down and it got thumped as soon as it hit the bottom. I don't know if there's something here. Of course, I'm a very big believer and I don't use electronics. A lot of guys do. Nothing wrong with electronics. But in a world full of people using electronics, I would rather not. I'd rather fish without them. Now, I have a depth finder. It's not in the boat right now. And I plan on getting a transducer for it so that I can hook it up. But I'm really honestly just going to get it for water temp, water depth. It's the only two things I care about. I don't care about the rest. Usually I always get one bite around this. I usually always get like one bite around this stuff, but today I don't think that's going to happen. I don't have a bullet weight heavy enough to sink my bait down there any further. Flip this thing. That's not where I wanted it. I'm going to flip it over to the edge of these pads real quick. Just not getting bit. Well, let's flip the frog around for a minute just to see. Kind of tell me if anybody's home. See, this is a grass flat, and there's like grass all the way out under the boat right now. So like I said, though, I don't catch very many fish out of this place. There's only really a couple places where I've gotten bit on a frog, to be honest. I mean, it sucks to admit that, but it's true. You would think that anytime you saw lily pads, you throw a frog on them, right? That's like everybody's mindset. You see lily pads, throw a frog. But not on this body of water. They will trick you. I think it's because there's so many lily pads here. There just ain't, I mean, the fish just don't, they're not in every pocket of pads, I don't think. Now I do see some pads moving up ahead of me. So I'm gonna pick up the chatterbait for a minute, kind of flip it around, cast it out, see if it gets bit. But I feel like I just saw a pocket of pads move right there. Do something dangerous here. Whatever's in there didn't eat that, so it makes me think it wasn't a bass. That's a big thing about this place you gotta be careful about. You'll see these pads move, right? You'll see a bunch of pads moving around, and then you'll bring your bait through there thinking, okay, I saw pads move, so there's got to be a fish. Well, there is a fish. It's freaking carp. Carp get really bad in this lake for some reason. So does the grass. You spend more time on this lake taking grass off your bait than you do catching fish sometimes. But eventually, it will all come together. Now, I could be throwing like a shad colored chatterbait, and that would probably equal more bites. But I guess the main reason that I'm throwing the one that I'm throwing is because I'm more or less trying to find a big bite. I don't care about, if I throw a chatterbait, I'm probably going to get bit. If I throw a shad colored chatterbait, I'll probably catch 5 or 6 small unders, and I've already got 4 unders in the boat. And I feel like down this bank that I'm about to go down, I'll be able to find at least one more under, maybe. I usually can. Gotta bring it past the right one's face, I guess. You know, I might work the spinnerbait a little bit more today. I did get bit on it once. That could be a sign that maybe the bigger ones will eat that today. Especially once you get more in these pads and stuff. I just gotta learn like, if you can come here in the wintertime and catch a bunch of fish that are over 15 inches long, like I said earlier today, they're in here. There's fish over 15 inches in this lake. There has to be. Ain't no way you come here in the wintertime, catch a bunch of 15 inches, and then all of a sudden, once it gets warm out, you can't catch one. So we're gonna figure it out. Like I said, right now there's a bunch of carp out here in front of me, just kind of doing their thing. So like I said, I've kind of stopped throwing a spinnerbait when I really need to be throwing one more often. I think that's 100% my fault. I'm the one that stopped throwing one because I got so hooked on a chatterbait. I mean, something about a chatterbait bite just hooked me. And it's a really good bite sometimes. I mean, sometimes you'll throw that chatterbait out, man, and you'll get hammered on it, and it's like a whole different day. And it can make your day like twice as good as it could have been if you get on them. And I got on them once. There was a day where I came here with a chatterbait and got on them. A couple of days actually. I've been on them with a chatterbait a couple times. But here lately, it has not been the ticket. Not at this lake for some reason. Like it came alive, worked real well, and then died. And I guess I can't say that because, and the reason I can't say that is because I've still caught a ton of fish on chatterbait. I mean, it's just a matter of where they're at. There's a crane sitting back here, which gives me hope. Makes me think there's bait in this pocket. And the biggest bass I've caught out of this lake, like actually got in the boat, came out of this pocket over on that corner. So, I mean, this is a good pocket to be in. Now, I'm actually going to go right through the middle of these pads here because I want to get to that bank, through this frog by that bank, because they may be in here because the pads are so messed up from the high water. They may just be on this side over here, especially with this big old herring over here. Tells me there's bait by that tree. At least there should be. He's sitting there. He ain't gonna sit there for no reason. You just gotta hope that when we get over here, we find him. Something just took off beside me there. Everything told me there might be a couple in here, but I guess my instincts were wrong, which it's alright if they were. That's not what I wanted. We're gonna pick up the flipping stick now. I know there's fish in here. It's a matter of getting them to bite something. And I found out on this lake that typically you always catch your big one in a place that you're not expecting it, like that big one. There was a big one that just followed this to the boat, like a 3-pounder. Tells me that I should probably have my swim jig up and ready. It just followed it all the way to the boat. That was like a 3-pounder, if not more. Followed it all the way to the boat. That tells me they're sitting in the grass. Which is good and bad, because Kepper just went back there to where all the grass is. See, the thing is, I just brought the frog through there. Like, I just flipped the frog in there and didn't get bit. So they're definitely not super aggressive on a frog right now. It's all right. Would have liked to have pulled one off of this little spot. One day I was having just an absolute struggle of a tournament. Like, I mean, I was just having a bad day. Overall, just a bad day. And I came through here and man, I flipped in next to that log and best bite I had all day on the jig. I mean, a fish just absolutely thumped it, and I don't know, just wasn't holding my tongue the right way or something, because he thumped it. I set the hook with everything I had, and missed him. Oh, my foot's. I wonder why my trolling motor wasn't working, because my foot was too far to the right. But the way that that fish just chased that bait out of that grass makes me want to just throw the swim jig a lot. I mean, it literally, it swam all the way out to the boat chasing that bait. And of course, it saw the boat and it disappeared, but that also makes me think that they'll eat a chatterbait, is what it makes me think. It makes me feel that way, at least. I mean, if you're going to chase that thing all the way out to the boat, I'm going to hit this log if I ain't careful. Big one. Oh, yeah. Whoo, doggy. That's what I'm talking about. Definitely over 15 for sure. Yeah. All right. We don't need a call tag on this one for sure. Get my plug put in here. It stinks in this live well. I don't know why. That was a good bite. Should be enough. I had some G juice in this boat, but I don't know what I did with it. Or where it ended up, I should say. I might have thrown it away, because it was pretty much empty. Now, I'm going to have to get a new one of these, because he absolutely destroyed that thing. That's alright. Alright. Did I get them out? Yeah, I got them out. Left them out. Alright, cool. I'm going to get both of them out. What's left of them. Lost my hat and everything. I'm all sorts of messed up right now. How many's in here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I've got 4 in there. And then I've got two. I know it's kind of redneck rig, but it works. Okay, let's get back to what we were doing here. Gotta be careful now because I got that freaking. Now, see, I didn't even feel that fish bite. I just picked up on it, and it was going underneath the pad or the stump there. So now we're pretty much in call out range. I freaking knew. Trying to get my big motor over top of this. There we go. My big motor is currently stuck back there. It won't let me go. I'll tell you what. We have definitely found a bait that they like. Only thing I have to hope for, they don't freaking destroy it before I catch enough. Because I've got one more after this. One more after this one that I got tied on. Alright, just because I can and I feel like it's going to work, we're going to spend the rest of this bank swim jigging. I'm just hoping. My hands are so slippery. I got bit. Chill out, dog. Alright, back to swim jigging. This is actually a bank that I could really throw a crankbait on. But I don't need any more unders. And I don't have the confidence that it's going to catch anything but an under, unfortunately. I should really be swim jigging with a little bit heavier of a jig, to be honest. But it's alright. Got a lot of something down inside, or I got a lot of like backlash stuff in my, just like wrapped up string in my reel. I need to make a long cast like that. Mm. Like I said, this little spot right here, I don't catch a ton of fish out of. I do occasionally. Occasionally I'll get bitten here, but most of the time I don't catch anything out of this spot. I've always wanted to, because I've always felt like the way this little pad pocket's set up, I've always felt like it should hold, you know, a bigger fish, but it just does not hold anything, unfortunately. Not for me, at least. I'm sure somebody probably catches the crap out of them right here, and they just know the deal. This is some of that bank that I talk about that really ain't no good for nothing. My buddy Devin swears by it. He thinks you can come down through here and just catch them, but I don't catch them here very often. Not until I get up here to where this wood is. I really feel like this is actually a bank, really good bank, to be throwing A-rig around a little bit, because I'm seeing shad pop everywhere. And I won't lie, I don't have like a ton of confidence in the A-rig. It's more of the fact that I want to catch one. I want to catch two fish at the same time is really why I throw it so much. And it probably will never happen, at least not in the bodies of water that I fish, but eventually. I've yet to catch a bass on it. I've caught a ton of crappie. I wouldn't say I've caught a ton of crappie. I've just seen a ton of crappie following it. So you would just think that eventually a bass has got to eat it. Thought I just got one right there, but I don't know what that was. It like kind of bumped it, but felt more like I went over top of something than anything. But No. That is not what I wanted. They're just not on that bite today. I wish they were, but they're not. I'm not going to force feed it to them. Bluegill. Darn bluegill. I don't want bluegill, I want bass. This is another one of them pad pockets. It's usually a lot bigger than it is right now. The pads just had a rough year this year. They usually have grown up a lot by now, but this year, because of the rainfall and the high water, they've got these pads just messed up. All right, we're gonna go back to swim jigging it here in a little bit. I'm gonna have to put some of this stuff away because it's gonna get dark. There ain't gonna be any point in having a lot of this shit out and about because I ain't gonna throw it. We say that noise my boat makes is the boat telling me that I'm fat. Probably true. It's like, hey, get off of me. I can't believe that other boat never came back here. I figured they'd have been back here already. Done that in a long time. Caught my trolling motor. It happens. Yeah.